Should be live now. Las Vegas. Pennzoil 400. Give people time to get in here before we start building these lineups. Very interested to see whether it's going to be the Kyle Larson show again, because that's certainly what it looked like in practice. And we all know how both Byron and Larson did here at Las Vegas in both races last year. You know, Larson was dominant in both. Doing a couple of things here before we get started. I don't know why I need to look into this, but the automatic settings on Facebook is set to private. So if you didn't get in the private DraftKings contest for Vegas, I tweeted out the link. Make sure you get in there. $10. Entry fee. See how many people we can get in there. Yeah, we'll see here. We'll make 20 lineups like usual. We did last week with Atlanta. I don't think we're going to get as good a finish here at Vegas as we did at Atlanta last weekend, but we can hope. Tweet this out real quick. The real question is whether we're going to have multiple dominators or just one. You know, obviously, Larson's the favorite to dominate this race. I put Byron at number 2, starting 4th. I honestly don't think Logano is going to do much, and while that could make him a somewhat sneaky pick to go with the pole sitter kind of against Larson and Byron, I don't see that working out. You know, he was on the pole for this race last year and he led, I think, he didn't lead many laps. He wrecked. I don't think, you know, you can't rely on any driver to wreck again, but it's Logano's car didn't look great in practice. Hendrick Chevys looked good. Toyotas looked solid with their tire fall off. So I don't see Larson. Logano might like stay up there for a while, like in the top 5, in the top 10, but he doesn't have a dominant car. And if you're paying $10,000 on DraftKings for the pole sitter, you need him to lead a good chunk of this race. You need him to dominate a good chunk of this race. And nobody busts more from the pole than Logano. Yeah. He's definitely up there. Who else has an issue with, you know, one guy that honestly has a history of disappointing when he looks really good before the race is Kyle Larson. I just don't see that happening. My rule with these next gen races are what happened last time is pretty similar to what happens the next time. You know, we've seen, for example, Ross Chastain was really good in the first Phoenix race last year, and then he was very good in the second race. Like, we see this happen quite often where not much changes. So the guys running up front, it really doesn't change a lot. And that's why this next gen car just builds in a bit of predictability, despite, you know, maybe practices were a little off. And that's another thing with practice this week was, you know, the whole Priest thing during Group A kind of altered all of those laps. All those drivers in Group A did not get a good 5-lap average in, did not get a good 10-lap average in, because it stopped. You know, the practice was red flagged because of Priest. So then when you're comparing practice groups, you know, we're looking at tire fall off, and you have a lot of different things to consider this week. It's the first intermediate race, so we still have, you know, that level of unpredictability and that uncertainty and questions, you know, with this first race, this first non-drafting race. We still have that going on. So this is a very fun race to build lineups. Once again, like I love building lineups for this. I have a bit of a fear that I'm going to be a little too confident, but that can either be a good thing or a bad thing, because I am very set on which drivers I want to use today, and I'm not really looking to go very far away from who I want to pick today. I think there is a base build that I'm very comfortable with that I might deviate from, you know, with these 20 lineups, but I know who I'm going with today, and I'll ride or die with that. I'm not going crazy today, going a bunch of lineups. I'll you know, 150 lineups for the mini max. I'll go 80-90% Larson. That's how confident I am in Kyle Larson. So I said I was going to tweet this out like 3 minutes ago. All right. Yeah, you got the new Ford nose, uncertainty. You got that aspect of it. You know, even Toyota. Toyotas look the same to me. Ford, I'm still, you know, Ford wasn't great last year. Obviously, we have, you know, Blaney's going to be solid here at Vegas. Logano, solid top 10, but not a dominator in my opinion. And I'm just not seeing. Ford's definitely good at qualifying. We've seen that. Can they race? I just don't. I don't think. I think it's going to be the Chevy show. I think Toyotas are going to really come out today and show up. And then we have just how qualifying ended up. We got Reddick and Chastain starting mid pack. We got Kyle Busch starting far back. Preece and Gregson. You know, Gregson was super conservative on his lap. He looked really fast in practice, as did Chase Briscoe, the other SHR car. Briscoe qualified fine, top 10. But Gregson starts 30th, and I honestly like Gregson a little bit more than I like Preece today, just because of that speed that Gregson showed during practice. So that's where I'm at with that. I actually like Gregson, but let's get in here. Let's build a base lineup. This is where my mindset is to start here. Like, this is where I'm, you know, to me, if I'm just looking to cash, I'm looking for a solid cash lineup here, starting with Larson. I'm going Chastain and Reddick. I really love Chastain today. I really like Reddick. You can come down and grab Keselowski. Keselowski's really good at Las Vegas. Did not show the speed in practice, but I'm not worried about that. I'm not, because Briscoe or his teammate Buescher looked fine. Give me Larson, Chastain, Reddick to start this out. That leaves us $7,000 average on the rest of the lineup. Like I said, I really like Gregson. I'm going to come down and grab Gregson. And then I do think you're going to want two of these, you know, lower dollar drivers, because there's excuse me, there's quite a bit of value down here. You got Gregson, looked great in practice, did not qualify where he should have because of that dust storm that came through. You got Ryan Preece starting dead last. You cannot get any safer than that. Will he be able to challenge for a top 10? We don't really know. We don't know what kind of speed's in that car, but SHR seems to have decent speed. Todd Gilliland is what he is. He qualified 31st. He's not good on this track type. He's probably like a 27th place driver. He's safe, but I don't see him getting into the optimal. He could. But typically Gilliland doesn't perform at these intermediate tracks. It's kind of like a prove it to me. He got into the wall during practice. They had they couldn't get the car started either. It was not a good Saturday for Gilliland. Zane Smith, I really like Zane Smith this week. If you look at the tire fall off between 5 and 10 lap average, 5 and 15 lap average, Zane Smith looked really good when it came to tire fall off, and his 5 lap average was solid enough that I'm confident and he is one of my favorite tournament plays today. I honestly think, you look at what Spire did in qualifying. Okay, so Hocevar and LaJoy did fine. They qualified top 20. So we get Zane Smith qualifying 24th, which gives us some place differential potential. His car looked really good in practice. I cannot overstate that or understate whatever I'm trying to say there. Zane Smith's car looked really good as far as tire fall off goes. And as far as a sub $6,000 driver, if you want to get off the chalk of, pivoting off of Hemrick, off of, I know a lot of people are going to Justin Haley today. Derek Kraus is in that 16 car for Colleague. Even Harrison Burton or, the SHR guys of Preece and Gregson, I think Zane Smith is a solid choice, very solid choice today. So let's throw Zane Smith on there. It leaves us $9,100 to work with. Does not quite get us up to those low. I really like Christopher Bell and Truex today. So as far as this first lineup, like I said, I'm going to go a little bit more conservative. So I am going to take Zane Smith off. Come down, you can grab Hemrick starting 34th. I don't remember how awful. I'm sure he was bad in practice as well. I didn't spend a lot of time looking at Hemrick today. He's one of those you're just filling out the lineup with. I know my projections like Haley over Hemrick, but I personally don't trust Haley over Hemrick. I'd rather have that better, in my mind, equipment with Hemrick. They both start back in 34th, 35th. So Hemrick, man, he was dog shit in practice. Slowest 5-lap average. Just not good. Where was Justin Haley? So Justin Haley wasn't able to make a lap. I am going to throw Hemrick on here, and I'll show you why. So Hemrick gives us 93, and then I'm going to come up and grab Truex here. Gives us 2 dominators. Obviously these builds, if you read my article, you need to target at least a couple dominators probably. We're likely going to see one driver, get a good chunk of it. We're probably going to see one guy lead over 100 laps. Truex is a sneaky play here. If you read Nick's stuff over on Fantasy Labs, the Toyotas are good here. Truex is good here. He has sneaky dominator potential. I like this with Hemrick, just to be able to fill in there with Truex. But who I really like here is Christopher Bell, and this is why I'm going to go to Haley. So I'm going to come up here and grab Christopher Bell. Christopher Bell finished second to Larson here at Vegas last fall. Has been solid on this track type. Typically qualifies a little bit better. So we're getting a little bit of place differential here with Bell. If he gets up there and leads laps, no telling what could happen. You look at, let me pull up. I don't quite have all my stuff pulled up here. Christopher Bell, 4th and 20 lap average, 7th and 15 lap average, 7th and 10 lap average. Christopher Bell's a solid top 10 car. If they can get that thing, locked in during the race, I have no doubt that Christopher Bell can finish top 5 in this race. So give me Christopher Bell. I'm pulling up tire fall-offs here. So Christopher Bell, tire fall-off. It's kind of middle of the road. Zane Smith and Blaney had the best fall-off from 5 to 10. Blaney looked really good at just fall off overall from 5 to 10, 5 to 15, 5 to 20. Toyotas looked fine. Truex looked pretty good. Reddick looked pretty good. But I'm going to go Bell here, and I'm going to go Haley. I feel like this is a very chalky lineup. This is, as far, if I'm just looking to cash, this is what I'm going with. I've been high on Chastain all week. Reddick looked great in practice. I think he's 3 top 10s here in the last 4 races or something like that. So I really like this lineup here. And like I said, I like Gregson. You could go down. You could grab Preece. If you wanted to go, go Preece instead of Gregson, and then go Hemrick instead of Haley. You could do that. That's probably an even safer pick, and I'm going to put that lineup in as well. Before I get this, let's see here. Would you prefer to build with Bell or Reddick with Larson, or would you prefer to build with Bell or Reddick with Larson, and who would you take with similar odds to win? As far as outright winners today, I don't see. I have not seen any outright value this week with anyone. I think Larson's that good, and I think Byron's that good. So my bets today, the bets I put in today have been top 10 bets. I hit Christopher Bell minus 148 for a top 10. Denny Hamlin minus 110. He qualified awful, but that's another driver that it's a little tough what to do with. Priced at 10,700. He starts 28th. That kind of price range, though, you kind of need him to get some dominator points as well, I think. But prefer to build with Bell or Reddick. We just built one with both. Reddick is definitely the safer option. Reddick's going to be in a ton of my lineups today. I'll tell you that right now. Tournament-wise, I like Bell better than Reddick. But I think they can both finish top 5 and at least top 10. So I think they're both very solid plays. So preference-wise, Reddick gives you more flexibility with the rest of your lineup. So I'm going to go probably Reddick when compared to Bell. But tournament-wise and strategy-wise, I think Bell is a very good play there. So that last lineup had, I'm just going to do the exact same lineup here. I'm going to go Kyle Larson, Christopher Bell, Ross Chastain, Tyler Reddick, Ryan Preece, and Daniel Hemrick. And I think a lot of people are going to land on this lineup or something similar to it. You know what I actually don't hate doing here? Because we'll forget. So Kyle Busch looked really good in long run speed rankings, but his tire fall off was off quite a bit. And I couldn't quite diagnose that when looking at it because 4th and 5 lap average, 4th and 10 lap average, 6th and 15 lap average, and 6th and 20 lap average. His record here at Las Vegas Motor Speedway is phenomenal. I'll pull it up real quick. Kyle Busch at Las Vegas Motor Speedway, and now we're getting him at a decent price point of $9,700. Plus, this is one of his best tracks. So he got place differential. He could get up there and lead. He looked decent on the long run. The only problem is he did not look good on tire fall off. But the place differential there really, you look at Kyle Busch, his last 6 races here, and obviously the last 2 here aren't in the next gen car, but 3rd, 14th, 3rd, 4th, 3rd, and 3rd is Kyle Busch's record at Las Vegas over the last 6 races. 3 top 4 finishes in 4 next gen races. Kyle Busch, great pick. So I'm gonna put this lineup in real quick just to lock it in. I want to have that second variation in this 20 lineup contest. But then I'm gonna come and grab Kyle Busch. And all this place differential honestly makes it a lot easier to only have one main dominator. Like optimally, you need lineups with 2 dominators, but I think you can get away with it today. Kyle Busch starting 21st, Ross Chastain starting 20th, Reddick starting 18th, Keselowski starting 25th, which I just had a question come in here. How do you feel about Keselowski? I really like Keselowski today. I do. I'm going to build a lineup here that I really like that includes Keselowski in it specifically. I'll do that in a second, but I want to get over here and get a Kyle Busch. So start with Larson. You got Kyle Busch. And this line is probably going to end up with Keselowski in it just to save some cap. But we'll throw Keselowski in there because you have the price jump up to Kyle Busch over where we were at before with Christopher Bell, Truex, and that. Give me Tyler Reddick. Again, I like Gragson. Boom. Zane Smith. Gets you off of Chastain, which I don't love, but I do think Reddick has slightly higher upside. Keselowski, again, his record at Las Vegas, just like Kyle Busch, and like I said, these races in the next gen car have become super predictable time over time. The drivers that were fast last time are typically fast again. So you look at Keselowski, they struggled the first year. RFK struggled. They did not have the speed. We know that. We know that they were a different organization last year than they were in 2022. So 2023, Keselowski finishes top 10 in both stages, end up finishing 17th. I don't remember what exactly happened. Second race, though, fall race last year at Vegas. Starts 21st, finishes third in stage one, fifth in stage two, leads 38 laps, and finishes fourth. Keselowski is so solid at Las Vegas. Before that, you look at the last 17 races, he has finished seventh or better. 13 of the last 17 races, Keselowski has finished seventh or better at Las Vegas. 3 of those races, or at least 2 of those races, were due to the fact that he was driving pretty much a shitbox for early days of RFK. And then there's one Penske race that he finished 13th, which was a bad race for him, a bad race for that team. Keselowski is great at Las Vegas. I really like him in DFS today. I'm not sure what kind of ownership he's going to grab because he's, I like him enough to go heavy on him, but at the same time, he's priced underneath Reddick. He's priced underneath Chastain, and he starts further back from them. But because he did not practice very well, I think there's a chance that people will kind of shift away from Keselowski despite having the higher upside, despite having the lower price point, and still gravitate toward the Reddick and the Chastain. So yeah, give me Keselowski. I really like him. I like Kyle Busch today. They both have great track records here. So you got those two. You got Larson, who can absolutely dominate this race with this lineup. You got Reddick, who won at Kansas last year. Again, sister track to Las Vegas. Has been solid here at Las Vegas. And then you got Noah Gragson, who I said I'm very high on. You could go Priest here if you wanted. And then Zane Smith, who I think is a great, great play as far as tournaments today. I really like this lineup right here. I don't love that it doesn't have Chastain on it, but you still have Reddick. So I'm fine with it. And it gives you some flexibility. I'm going to enter this one, and then I'm going to redo it with this same type of build. This is the main type of build that I'm looking at. I mentioned that to open the show. There's a solid, main build that I'm looking at. This right here is my favorite build today. And then just kind of shifting some other parts here. Do this here real quick. What is going on with my light? That's weird. Kyle Busch, Keselowski, Reddick. There we go. Lock that one in. Also, I like Keselowski's price point when it comes to building a lineup with both Larson and Byron. So that would be another double dominator lineup that you're looking at. And Keselowski gives you that middle ground place differential play and cap relief. So I can definitely see where he's going to get decent. Like I was just talking about, maybe ownership shifting over to Reddick and Chastain because they're faster times in practice. It's if people are building Larson Byron lineups, like we did last year at Las Vegas, this is I can see them landing on Keselowski a lot and Bowman, which is kind of like my second main core that I like building this week are those two. Chastain and Truex or Bubba and Busch. That is, man. I've been so high on Chastain this week. He never practices well. So I really like that he was fastest in practice, even though his lap averages didn't look great. Kyle Busch's lap averages look great. This is tough. because Truex has just minor better place differential than Bubba, starting 7th when Bubba's 5th. I think Bubba has the better car. Bubba could get up there and dominate. Man, honestly, this might be a coin flip for me. My gut says Busch and Bubba, but it is hair thin difference here. Hair thin difference because I do love Drew of Chastain this week. So going back to this previous build that we did with Larson, we had Kyle Busch, we had Reddick, Keselowski, Gragson, and Zane Smith. Keep Gragson on there. We can jump down and grab. I mean, you could throw in another Josh Berry or Ryan Preece. Gives you $200 to work with if you go Preece. Could get you off a Reddick and get up to Chastain if you wanted to. You could also stick with Reddick, get off Keselowski, go up to Bubba. See what I mean? Like these very minor changes get you to be able to fit these puzzle pieces in as needed. Bubba, I'm going to go ahead and put this one in as well. I like this. See, this is where it gets fun because when you have a main base that you like, you can just make tiny changes and all of a sudden, next thing you know, you have 30 lineups. And obviously, if Larson shits the bed here, I'm dead in the water, but I'm fine with that because I'm that confident in Kyle Larson being the best today. Now, obviously, you need to cover your bases and go with have some Byron in there as well, but I'm fine going very heavy Larson and focusing on that. Kyle Busch, Bubba Wallace, and then Preece and Zane Smith. Again, I'm a big Zane Smith guy. I actually bet him top 10, 9-1. If you're following me on the Action app, locked that in this morning along with my other top 10 bets. Let's see here. Thoughts on LaJoy as a sneaky GPP play. Spire has speed. LaJoy was 6th in 5 laps. Zane awesome. Yeah, I'm not on him. I don't know if I can get there. I'd much rather go Gragson. I don't know if I can get there with LaJoy. I didn't realize he was that good in 5 lap. I must have overlooked that. He was. Didn't make a 10-lap run. But you make a good point there with Zane. I don't think Hocevar is playable, but LaJoy could be. But I'm not. It's not confident. I'm not confident in that. Last year, 19th for LaJoy was 19th at Vegas last year, 22nd at Kansas. And obviously, finishing position doesn't tell you a ton, but I'm just grabbing quick numbers here. 17th at Charlotte, 20th at Kansas, 20th at Vegas. So he's about 20th place car at mile and a half last year. And now you have to think maybe Spire has some more power. Man, you might be talking me into LaJoy right here. Like I said, I'm not there right now, but I have a feeling we'll build some lineups here and I'll get there and I'll end up with some LaJoy. I like Gragson so much though. But man, that's And LaJoy is one of those guys that I like. I'm always high on LaJoy. He's one of my favorite, low dollar drivers. And I'll be honest with you, I kind of just overlooked him this week. But let's build a Larson Byron lineup here. So if you go Larson Byron, I think, you're I don't think you're going to be able to comfortably get the Chastain or Reddicks and still build out a complete lineup. So I actually like with Larson Byron, I like going Keselowski and then I like going Bowman. Grab that Zane Smith and Noah Gragson. Again, Larson, Zane Smith, Gragson it might be my favorite, like top dollar, low dollar 3-person build, and then filling in from there. So with this lineup, you got Larson, Byron, who can both dominate this race. You got the place differential plays of Keselowski and Bowman. Obviously, we talked about Keselowski and his upside, how he's good at Las Vegas. Alex Bowman is also very good at Las Vegas. Starts 21st. The rest of the Hendrick cars showed speed. Bowman, 3 of the last 4 races, he's been top 5 here at Vegas, finishing top 5. He wrecked here last fall, but he was top 10 car last fall. So getting Bowman starting 23rd, being able to move up, and then just hoping that Larson and Byron do their thing up front while, Gragson moves up throughout the day and Zane Smith hopefully sneakily moves up. I like this lineup as well. We'll do one where, get off of Keselowski and Bowman, but as far as if I'm doing a Larson Byron build, this might be my favorite one. It's the one that immediately stuck out to me when I started a Larson Byron build. Three guys starting top 10 viable. Good question. Let me get my spreadsheet up here. So top 10 is Logano, Larson, Cindric, Byron, Bubba Wallace, Chase Briscoe, Truex, Ty Gibbs, Chris Buescher, Christopher Bell. Don't think you're going to be able to do. To answer your question, yes. This is you can do it. You can go Larson or Byron, Truex Bell. Or not Truex Bell, but like Bubba Bell. So if you go Larson, Bell, Bubba Wallace, come down here and grab, like a Ryan Preece, and let's say Zane Smith. You still have your choice there of Tyler Reddick or Ross Chastain. And you could go Reddick, and then you can go Gragson. Larson, Bell, Bubba, Reddick, Gragson, Smith. I see no problem with that lineup. I think Bubba Wallace is a sneaky dominator play. Larson is the main dominator play. Christopher Bell can get up there and challenge for a top 3, starting 10th. Don't know if he has the chance to really get a ton of fastest laps, but Reddick, you got the place differential and you got top 5 potential. Gragson needs to do his thing. Zane Smith needs to be the sneaky play. So yeah, I like that lineup a lot. And again, it follows this main type of build that I'm just stuck on. And if I'm dying on this hill today, I'm dying on this hill. But I'm feeling really good about that type of build today. I'll say that. Thoughts on McDowell? I really have no interest in McDowell today. Right now, as far as these low wear intermediates, it's show it to me. Show me what you actually got. We look at what McDowell did last year. Let's just look at excuse me, his low wear 1.5 miles. Last year, he was 25th at Vegas. Front row struggled quite a bit at Las Vegas, or at intermediates in general. And this was, McDowell qualified 17th. First Las Vegas race, finished 25th. Kansas, he finished 26th after starting 23rd. Charlotte, he finished 28th after starting 30th. Kansas 2, he started 7th and he finished 26th. Las Vegas 2, he started 18th, he finished 17th. And I'm missing one more. Anyway, you get the point. Oh, Texas started 17th, finished 15th. I'm not there on McDowell at all. I honestly won't have any McDowell, especially at that price point, because he's going at $7,200. He's going to need to get top 7 to get like even that might be a little too like. I'm not seeing it. McDowell, this isn't front row's best type of track. Penske didn't look super fast in practice. Obviously, they can qualify well, but I see McDowell being about a top 20. Like, if you look at McDowell, how he did last year on intermediates, he was on a good day, he was a 20th place car. So, how much improvement needs to happen for him to be a top 10 car from a top 20? And that's what you need out of McDowell. I would not recommend McDowell at all. Long story short, I would not recommend McDowell at all. He's actually, I think, one of my lowest projected. He's not super low, but he's pretty low as far as my projections go. So I honestly would not recommend McDowell today. What would your route be to base build without Larson? Martin or Bell, Truex, Reddick, Chastain, or need one of top 5 drivers? My route, if I'm not going Larson, I'm going Byron. I'm starting with Byron and then working from there. However, I have put together lineups just messing around where I don't have either Larson or Byron, kind of anticipating maybe what if they wreck each other. They go in and turn one and wreck each other. That's certainly possible. And if you're putting in enough lineups, you need to have that kind of safety net in case it does happen. But if I'm not starting with Larson, I'm going Byron and then I'm going from there and I'm saving, I have an extra $500 to play with. So I'm still not getting to Logano. Even if I'm not going Larson, I'm still not getting to Logano. I'm going Byron. So I'm gonna put a lineup here together though without Larson or Byron, or just kind of mess with one. So if you go Bell, Truex, Chastain, Reddick, and so I'm going to take Truex off and throw Bubba on there. That gets me to Bowman too. Okay. Bell, Chastain, Reddick, Bubba Wallace. So your 2 potential dominators until again, you're kind of hoping for Toyota to come out swinging here in the race and be better than the Hendricks with this type of build. If you're going no Larson, no Byron, and you're hoping for Bubba Wallace here to grab the early lead and go Bell to get there, and then Reddick and potentially Chastain to get there later. This type of build right here, you're hoping for that situation. Larson and Byron have problems early, or they have problems you need them to have issues, or you need Larson to dominate the first quarter of the race and then have it you're relying on issues here between them, which I don't really like to do, but I do think it's smart to have at least one lineup that covers that base. So I am going to throw this lineup in to have one. And if you didn't want to go, you could still go like Truex over Bell too if you wanted to here. I like Bell over Truex today. Bowman, just talked about him a little bit ago. Really like Alex Bowman today. I probably won't have enough of him, but as far as my projections and the value play of Bowman my projections really like him as a value play today. So that's where I'm at. I really like getting to him with Larson Byron builds, but you can still get to him with, my main core here. If we end up with Larson, Chastain, Reddick, Bowman, I hate that Daniel Hamrick's probably going to kill me today, but I'm all right with it. Don't trust Justin Haley at all. Eric Jones is quite the question mark. You look at Legacy looked so bad in practice. The fact that he qualified 22nd was actually probably outperforming. Legacy was bad. Legacy, and one of my favorite bets earlier this week was John Hunter Nemechek over Carson Hocevar, and I look like a complete fucking idiot on that. So I'd rather don't really have the room to get down to where you could go take Chastain off, come down to Bubba. Gives you $400 to get off of Jones and up to Suarez. And then if you wanted to get off of Hemrick and go Justin Haley, you get off of Reddick and go Chastain. I like that. I like both of those, the one I just had and this one. Larson, Bubba Wallace, Alex Bowman, Ross Chastain, Daniel Suarez, and Justin Haley. I'm going to put that other one in too. Larson. Could also get off of Bubba and come down to Keselowski if you wanted to. And that could get you up to, Reddick up to Chastain if you wanted. Could also get you to Truex if you went down off of Hemrick and went to Justin Haley. I'm going to stick with this one, though. Kyle Larson, Ross Chastain, Brad Keselowski, Alex Bowman, Daniel Suarez, and Daniel Hemrick. Hey, thoughts on Gibbs? I liked Ty Gibbs earlier this week. I talked about him quite a bit. I actually talked about betting him outright at 28-1. Do not like him for DFS, though. $7,600 starting 8th. You need him to dominate a portion of this race, and I don't see it happening. Got Larson up there, got Byron up there. All the other Bubba Wallace, Truex, Christopher Bell, they all have cars better than Ty Gibbs. So I'm not on Gibbs at all today. I probably won't have a single one. Todd Gillen starting 31st. He has led the most laps this season, more than any driver. Yep. I'm still not. I know this is sarcastic, but he's just not. He's not the great play. Like, there's a lot of weeks where Gilliland in his price range is typically the low dollar guy to roll with. It's just not today. FRM has struggled, but if you don't believe in SHR, then it's a play, I guess. That's, SHR. I just don't. That's a good point. I say that, and this is what I don't like about Vegas is because there are these question marks. Briscoe was absolute dog shit on these intermediate tracks last year. So to come out and qualify 6th and look decent in practice, Gragson looking good in practice, it's noteworthy. Yeah, the 10 and the 41 should so much more speed starting in the same area. Yeah. I don't see how you get to Gilliland today. You're hoping for a bunch of attrition if you're on Gilliland today. I'm not there at all. Checking my Twitter notifications quick. Had a few things come in. All right, let's see where I'm at here. Don't have as much Kyle Busch as I like. I'm at 15% or 3 lineups of Keselowski. Don't have a ton of Blaney. I actually don't have any Truex lineups. Did not realize that. Obviously, I have a couple of Justin Haley lineups. Have a couple Priest lineups. Let's do a Byron build without Larson. So let's roll William Byron here. I'm gonna throw Kyle Busch on there as well. Gonna go Reddick. Gonna go Keselowski. If you throw Gragson on there, you can get Priest or Barry or Zane Smith if you want. Going Gregson and Priest here with Byron, Bell, Reddick, Kez. You could also jump up and grab Bubba if you wanted. You could get off of Reddick and go up to Chastain if you wanted. Or you can come down off of Bush. Well, if we grabbed like a boom, no. Don't like Elliott. Get off of Priest and come down to Zane Smith gets us 10-2, gives us Blaney. Off the Larson chalk. Could also run down and grab Kraus instead of Zane and then hit Hamlin starting 28th. Just to have a Blaney lineup, actually. I am going to go Hamlin and go Kraus. You're hoping for attrition there with Kraus. This is not my favorite by any means. Byron build. It's just a weird. This is a weird one. Let me see if I get off of Gregson and go to. You know who has a sneaky, decent record here at Las Vegas? Is Harrison Burton. Four races, next gen car, Harrison Burton, 20th, 26th, 26th, and 16th. So I'm going to go Harrison Burton here and then go Priest. I like that, but that feels a little bit better to me than Kraus. And I do like Gregson, but again, Priest is. I need to have more Priest for sure. So I'll go Priest and then Harrison Burton. Again, not expecting the world of Harrison Burton, but he does have a sneaky good record here. So I'm fine with this right here. Plus, it gets you Hamlin. Hamlin starting 28th is definitely something. I'm getting one with Larson and Hamlin in here. Larson, Hamlin, Chastain, Bowman, Burton, Smith. Doesn't quite feel as good as, the first lineups I was doing with Larson, but this is a little, there's still upside here. You have upside with Hamlin starting 28th. Make one with drivers that could stay on the lead lap. Is this for like a FanDuel build? I'll be honest with you. I'm not good at FanDuel. I've had a couple decent hits over there, but I don't play it enough to. So last fall, 26 of 36 were on the lead lap. 6 more were 1 lap down. Last spring, oh shit, 18 cars on the lead lap. So I think if you're looking at guys that can stay on the lead lap at the lower dollar positions, you're kind of looking for the ones facing forward or the ones starting more forward, and or the guys that have speed. So to me, that's Zane Smith, and I'm gravitating to Gregson, but I could get to LaJoy. LaJoy could be the LaJoy lineup, guys. So staying on the lead lap, give me LaJoy, give me Zane Smith. Obviously, Larson. I'm gonna go Larson here. This gives us a $9,000 average. I have no. If we go Bowman here, gives us an average of 94. This is there's so many ways you can go here. So to me, if you definitely want drivers that can stay on the lead lap, I think you go Zane Smith and LaJoy because they both have different speed or decent speed, and they're starting further ahead. This is obviously a pretty risky play. And then I think you go Larson just for the dominator. And then those last 3 spots are really up in the air. So you could go Bell, Truex, Bowman. You could go, my favorite core, Chastain, Reddick, Bubba, or Chastain, Reddick, Keselowski. Gives you another $500 to play with if you want to do that. That's an interesting. What if we went? I mean, you can go grab Bowman here and have another 900 to work with. But if you go Keselowski here, so you get the place differential plays of Chastain, Reddick, Keselowski. You could come up and grab Gregson and LaJoy. That might be not to get rid of this question, but this might be my LaJoy lineup because I do like it quite a bit. Like obviously you have the place differentials with Reddick, Chastain, and Keselowski. So I like that. Kind of, I knew we'd just end up on it somehow. And you could go Bowman, you could go Bubba, or you could go Bowman if you wanted to here over Kez. There's Gregson. I'm gonna lock that in. I'm gonna play around with that a little bit more too. See if there's any other lineup I like. I don't. Stenhouse has upside. Stenhouse is actually a Vegas is a good track for Stenhouse. How much do you trust him? Outside of the top 20 in all 4 next gen races, but the upside is there. Like he's good at this racetrack. Gragson top 10 thoughts. I don't see Gragson getting to the top 10, but I really like him today. And maybe that's me overreacting to practice, but I like Gragson more than I like Priest. And I think a lot of people are going to be on Priest just because of his wreck in practice and then starting dead last. So to me, Gregson's a little bit of a pivot off of Priest. This feels really. I mean, this is a somewhat chalky lineup, but it differentiates quite a bit on the bottom half going Stenhouse LaJoy. And that's if this race goes as we plan it or as we see it, that's kind of what you need to take down one of these big GPPs is the small pivots, whether it be in the middle of your lineup or in the bottom half of your lineup. I don't recommend. Screw it. I'm going with this. Stenhouse was actually decent. Ninth and 10 lap average, 9th and 15 lap average, 5th and 20 lap. Just for a differentiating lineup, I'm going to lock this one in. It gets off that super low dollar chalk, but also has the main, the Reddick, Chastain, and then Bowman chalk. So I like that. Let me see here. Let's go. Let's do a Kyle Larson, Christopher Bell, Chastain, Reddick, Gregson, Haley. I'm going to come off a Bell here, actually, I'm going to keep Bell in there. And then you can do something like this. Kyle Larson, Christopher Bell, Martin Truex Jr., Tyler Reddick. I'm going to get off of Zane Smith here, go down to Justin Haley, and then grab Priest. Just because I have so many Zane Smith lineups already. I need more Kyle Busch lineups. So I'm going to go Larson, Busch. The 2 lineups I've done with Kyle Busch have both had Reddick on it, so I'm going to go Chastain. Come down and grab Bowman with it. I'm gonna end up with a little bit more LaJoy than I initially planned. Could get off of LaJoy and obviously go down to Gregson, but I don't want to get super heavy on. I'm gonna have a ton of Gregson. Actually, I really don't have a ton of Gregson as much as I thought. I have more Zane Smith than I do Gregson. I'm gonna go Gregson, and then I'll stick with Zane Smith. I don't want to trade up Bowman to Busher. I do think Busher's a decent play. Sneaky, very, very risky, very sneaky play. But I'm going to stick with Bowman. Stick with Chastain. Larson, Kyle Busch, Bowman, Chastain, Gregson. I probably need to get off of so much Zane Smith. Fuck it. I'm staying there. It's $4 entries. Who cares, right? I'm going to do another Byron without Larson lineup here. So the last one we had was Byron, Reddick, Hamlin, Keselowski, Priest, and Harrison Burton. So got Byron here. I'm going to take Hamlin off, come down and grab. Oh, shit. Give me like a Bubba Wallace here. Byron, Reddick, Bubba Wallace, Keselowski, Bowman, Haley. Mindset here is you're hoping that Byron's the dominator and not Larson. Bubba finishes or has a has a good race as far as, just stay top 5 all day. You got your place differential plays with Reddick, Keselowski, and Bowman. You just want Haley to finish this race. Reddick. My projections like Justin Haley today, my mind doesn't. That's the disconnect. Gonna do another Byron lineup here. So you go Byron. I don't have enough Christopher Bell. I would like more Bell. I don't have enough Truex either. Truex is just, I can get there, but I can't. I know I should have more Truex, but it's just, obviously I have a lot of Reddick. I have a lot of Chastain. Yeah. Haley, he meant top 10 here. There's another comment after it. Top 10 total points in the last 4 Vegas races, but it wasn't wear equipment. That's the biggest question mark here is how good is that equipment actually going to be? Gonna lock this one in. Byron, Kyle Busch, Ross Chastain, Brad Keselowski, and then Priest and Gragson. How much salary should you leave in GPPs? This isn't what we've kind of gotten used to the first 2 weeks, so I don't see a reason to. I would try to use as much cap as possible, unless you're like, excuse me. This is going to be your typical DraftKings build. We're back to normal. So fully use as much cap space as you like. Chances are the optimal today is going to use 49.5 or above is most likely. Only have two Larson Byron builds, one Larson Byron build actually, so I'm going to build another one here. The last one was Larson Byron, Bowman Kez, Gregson Zane Smith. There's a couple ways you could go here. You could kind of try to get more middle here and target like the Suarez's, the Joneses potentially. To me, I just like going a little cheaper. Maybe getting off of Zane Smith, getting off of Gregson, and going probably you're probably going Priest here, and then let's go Haley, and then you can get off of Bowman there and go. You get off of Bowman if you want and go. I'm going to go Bubba here. I'm just going to make a couple of variations of this lineup. So Larson, Byron, Keselowski, Bubba Wallace, Priest, Haley. If you didn't want to do that, come up and go off of Keselowski, go to Bowman. Gives you your choice between Chastain and Reddick. Right now I have 11 lineups with Reddick, 10 with Chastain. I'll stick with the Chevy here, guys up top, and go Chastain. So Larson, Byron, Chastain, Bowman. I'm on quite a bit of Bowman today, aren't I? Priest and Justin Haley. Good question here. What exposure do we want for Byron, Larson, Hamlin? To me, Larson, like I said, runaway favorite to dominate this race. I'm going to get aggressive with it. I'm going to have a ton of Larson. I'm more aggressive than most people. I'd probably limit it to 55, 60% Larson exposure. Byron, I think you want to be in that 25 to 30 if you can. And then Hamlin, I'm not. You need to be more on Hamlin than I am. I'm historically always low on Hamlin, and it bites me in the ass. I don't like his price point. I I don't like the builds with Hamlin in them. I don't see them getting there because I don't see him leading this race, and I'm not sure that his place differential alone is going to get it there when we have so many other place differential plays lower in the field. We have the Chastains, we have the Reddicks that are nearly $2,000 less than Denny Hamlin. So Denny Hamlin starting 28th, yeah. I'm right now with these lineups, I haven't built my 150 lineups, but right now I'm at 10% Hamlin. I'll probably be close to, if I had to guess, I'd probably be in the 10 to 15% range for Hamlin. Where do you want to be with him? Personally, I wouldn't go above 20 is where I'd be at with Hamlin. I have 2 lineups in 20 max with Hamlin, and I'm fine with that. I'm not high on Hamlin today, despite, I mean, I have him projected pretty high. I don't see him getting there, even with all the place differential. So that's my opinion. But like I said, Hamlin has kicked my ass in DFS a lot. So there's always that in the back of my head. One more Larson Byron lineup here, and then we'll cut this stream. If anybody has any questions, go ahead and throw them in the comments. And if not, we'll get wrapped up here. So Larson Byron. Who do I not have down lower? Oh, I was hoping to get to Reddick there. All right, Larson, Byron, Reddick, Keselowski. Zane Smith, Harrison Burton. Could come off of Keselowski, go down to Bowman. But I don't really like, I mean, it gives you an extra $400, but I'm not going to go to Hocevar over Burton. Could go to Hemrick over Burton, but I don't love that. Honestly, I'd rather just go Keselowski and call it a day. So, if there's no questions, good luck to everybody in today's Pennzoil 400. I know this went a little bit longer than an hour. Typically, I like to keep these an hour, but yeah, good luck to everybody. Make sure you get in the private DraftKings contest that I created. I tweeted out the link. $10 to play. So you like 2 5K guys in the lineup. I think the optimal build. Oh, you're good. You're good for the late, quote unquote, late question. I'm fine with 2 $5,000 guys in a lineup. I think the optimal build is going to have 2 guys under 65. Yeah, I think that's where the optimal build is going to be, is 2 guys under 65, just because there's so many. You know, you got Gregson, you got Priest, you got Zane Smith, Hemrick. Like, these are all. I think that's where I think the optimal build is going to come out with 2 guys in that 5K range, maybe in the mid 6s. But yeah, I definitely think I like the flexibility it gives you with the rest of your lineup. Let you build pretty much however you want otherwise and get those top guys. So if there's nothing else, good luck to everybody today at Las Vegas. Hopefully Larson doesn't stink this thing up, but it's looking very possible that Larson's going to do it again. Can't stop clicking on Zane and Hemrick, man. I'm right there with you. I really like Zane. I'm not there on Hemrick though. I'm not quite getting there on Hemrick. I had a couple lineups with him here. I mean, it depends. If Zane Smith works out like I think he will, I love the play. I love the play. Hemrick, you're just hoping he doesn't wreck and he moves up mid-20s. Mid-20s, Hemrick will get you there. And then Zane Smith, if he ends up with a team finish, yeah. So it's fun, but it's also risky, going with the same build. I'm not there on Gilliland. Don't like him. I like pretty much anybody else in his price range. Yeah, largely a bum, but it's his best track for Hemrick. I'm still not there on him. It'll probably bite me. It's right there. $5,500, the guy starting 34th, but I just like so many other people in that price range. So can't quite get there on Hemrick. But good luck to everybody today. Talk to you next week. We'll be going over Phoenix. Make sure you check out my stuff on Rotoballer. Use code Jordan24. It's going to get you 25% off if you haven't signed up already. Check out Stacking Denny's podcast. Me and Nick Giffen drops every Wednesday. And good luck. Make sure you get in that private DraftKings contest, guys.